I need to provide some background first. I have been living in Germany for the past 7 years. After completing my computer science degree, I got an amazing job offer from a tech company in Berlin. The salary was 3 times what I was being offered in the US, and the benefits were incredible. My parents were initially hesitant about me moving so far away, but they supported my decision because they knew it was a great opportunity. My older sister Luna, 32F, and I, 29F, were extremely close growing up. Despite being 3 years apart, we shared everything. We had the same friend group in high school, and she was my biggest supporter when I decided to study computer science, even though our parents wanted me to go into medicine like her. Luna became a biology teacher at our local high school instead of pursuing medical school, which disappointed our parents a bit, but they got over it when she started dating Mike. Mike and Luna met in college. He was studying business and had big plans to start his own real estate company. They dated for 3 years before getting married in a beautiful ceremony that I helped plan. I was her maid of honor and I remember crying during my speech because I was so happy for her. Mike was perfect for Luna. He was kind, ambitious, and treated her like a queen. Our parents absolutely adored him because he came from a good family and was very successful in his career. After I moved to Germany, Luna and I made a pact to never lose touch. We had video calls 3 times a week where we would talk about everything happening in our lives. She would tell me about her students, about the houses she and Mike were looking at, and their plans to start a family once they were more settled. I told her about my job, the people I was meeting, and how different life was in Germany. Our parents joined these calls sometimes, and it felt like I hadn't really left home at all. But things started changing about 5 years ago. The first sign was when Luna started missing our scheduled calls. She would text last minute saying she had to grade papers or had a school meeting. I didn't think much of it initially because I knew being a teacher was demanding. But then she started responding to my messages hours or even days later. Her responses became shorter and more vague. When I asked about specific things like their house hunting progress or if they had started trying for a baby, she would change the subject. I started asking my parents about her during our calls. They always said she was doing great but was just very busy with work. They said the school had given her more responsibilities and she was working on getting a promotion to department head. They would send me pictures of Luna and Mike at family dinners, telling me how they wished I could be there too. They never mentioned any problems. Last month, my company gave everyone a month of paid vacation as a bonus for completing a big project. I decided to surprise my family by flying home without telling them. I had it all planned out. I would show up at my parents' house during their Sunday family dinner, which they'd been doing for years according to their stories. When I reached their house, I found my mom alone. She was shocked to see me and immediately started acting weird. She said Dad was at a golf tournament and started making excuses about why I should come back another day. But I insisted on waiting for him. While waiting, I noticed something odd. There were no recent photos of Luna and Mike anywhere in the house. The last photo I could see was from their wedding 8 years ago. When Dad came home, not from golf, but from the grocery store, they both looked like they'd seen a ghost. I finally demanded to know what was going on. That's when everything came crashing down. Mom started crying and Dad had to sit down before telling me the truth. Luna hadn't been living with Mike for the past 5 years. They got divorced after she had an affair with James, another teacher at her school. Apparently, she and James had been having an affair for months before Mike found out. When he discovered their messages on her iPad, he was devastated. Luna didn't even try to save their marriage. She moved in with James immediately after Mike confronted her. The divorce was ugly. Mike was so hurt that he told everyone about the affair. Most of their friends took his side and cut Luna off. She lost her job at the school because the principal didn't want any scandals. She and James moved to Columbus, about 2 hours away, where they both got teaching jobs at a different school. My parents said they didn't tell me because they were ashamed of Luna's actions. They thought I would be disappointed in them for raising a daughter who would cheat on her husband. They admitted to orchestrating an elaborate lie. All those family dinner photos they sent me were old ones. The stories about Luna's work achievements were made up, and they had been actively preventing people from telling me the truth. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The sister I thought I knew would never cheat on her husband. The parents I trusted would never lie to me for years. Yet here we were. I asked about Mike, and they said he had remarried last year and moved to California. He had actually tried to reach out to me when everything happened, but my parents convinced him not to tell me. I left their house that day and checked into a hotel nearby. I needed space to process everything. When I checked social media, I discovered Luna had blocked me years ago, probably to maintain the lie. But her profile was public and what I saw made me feel sick. She and James had a 3-year-old daughter. I had a niece I didn't even know existed. There were hundreds of photos of them looking happy, living their life while I was kept in the dark. My parents have been calling and messaging nonstop since I left. They keep saying they need to explain everything properly, that there's more to the story. Luna hasn't reached out at all. I feel like I'm in some bizarre alternate reality where everything I thought I knew about my family was a lie. Edit. Luna finally sent me a long email after our parents told her that I know everything. I haven't opened it yet. I have my finger hovering over the delete button, but something is stopping me from pressing it. I don't know if I want to hear her excuses or if it will just make everything worse. Update 1. It's been 2 weeks since my original post. I've been struggling with whether to share this update because everything has gotten so much more complicated. After reading everyone's comments encouraging me to read Luna's email to get closure, I finally opened it last night. I wish I hadn't. The email started with a long paragraph about how sorry she was for keeping me in the dark all these years. She said she thought about telling me every day but was convinced by our parents not to. According to her, when she first told them about her affair with James, they were angry and disappointed. But instead of encouraging her to confess to Mike, they immediately started planning how to manage the situation. Their main concern wasn't even Luna's marriage, it was what people would think of them if their daughter got divorced because of infidelity. Luna claims our parents quickly shifted from being angry at her to trying to protect the family's reputation. The part that made me feel physically sick was when she revealed that our parents had actually met James multiple times before Mike found out about the affair. They would cover for Luna when she went to meet James, telling Mike she was helping Mom with errands or attending school events. But here's where it gets even worse. Luna wrote that when she first mentioned wanting to tell me about her divorce, our parents freaked out. They told her that I was finally doing well in my career and any family drama could derail my success. They convinced her that if I knew about her situation, I would feel obligated to come back to the US to support her, and that would ruin my future. They painted this picture of me having to give up my dream job and move back home, all because of her mistakes. She tried to justify her affair by saying her marriage with Mike had been troubled for years. Apparently, Mike had been pressuring her to quit teaching and start a family. He wanted her to be a stay-at-home mom like his mother, but Luna wasn't ready to give up her career. When she met James, who supported her professional ambitions and shared her passion for teaching, she said she felt understood for the first time in years. The most shocking part of the email was about what happened when Mike discovered the affair. He found their messages on Luna's iPad and confronted her at school, causing a huge scene. The school principal got involved, and rumors started spreading. That's when our parents stepped in with their checkbook. They offered Mike a significant amount of money to handle the divorce quietly and not tell anyone about the affair. When he refused initially, they increased the amount until he agreed. Luna wrote that our parents took out a second mortgage on their house to pay Mike. She didn't know the exact amount but said it was well into 6 figures. They also paid for her and James to relocate to Columbus, helped them with a down payment on their house, and have been sending them money regularly since then. I was so angry after reading this that I drove straight to my parents' house to confront them. They broke down and admitted everything Luna had written was true. Mom showed me their financial documents. They're in serious debt because of all the money they've spent covering up Luna's mistakes. They're still paying off the second mortgage, and their credit cards are maxed out from supporting Luna and James. During this confrontation, I discovered something that made me even angrier. I always gave my parents access to my email for emergencies because I was living in a foreign country. It turns out they had been using this access to intercept and delete emails from Mike and several of our family friends who had tried to tell me the truth over the years. They admitted to regularly checking my email and deleting anything that might expose their lies. The final blow came when Luna started sending me messages about her daughter, my niece Emma. She kept saying how Emma needs her aunt in her life and how she's been telling Emma about her aunt in Germany for years. This infuriated me because she's been lying to her own daughter while using her to emotionally manipulate me now. I also found out that Luna and James aren't living the perfect life their social media suggests. James lost his teaching job due to budget cuts last year, and they've been struggling financially ever since. Luna admitted that part of the reason she finally agreed to tell me the truth was that they need money. Our parents can't help them anymore because they're drowning in debt themselves. I feel like I'm drowning in lies and manipulation. My sister used me as an excuse to keep her affair secret, claiming she was protecting my career. My parents violated my privacy for years by monitoring my email. They went into massive debt to protect their reputation and enable Luna's behavior. And now they all expect me to just understand and move forward as if nothing happened. I've blocked Luna's number and social media accounts. I changed all my passwords and set up two-factor authentication on everything. I'm still staying at the hotel because I can't bear to be around my parents. The worst part is, this probably isn't even the full story. Given how many lies have already been exposed, I'm sure there's more I don't know yet. Several people messaged me suggesting I reach out to Mike to hear his side of the story. I'm considering it, but I need some time to process everything first. Right now, I don't know who or what to believe anymore. Update 2. It's been 3 months since my last update. I extended my leave from work to sort out this mess, and I'm glad I did because more secrets have come tumbling out. Everything I thought I knew about my family has turned out to be even worse than I imagined. After weeks of avoiding everyone's calls and messages, I finally agreed to meet Mike for coffee. He's in town visiting his parents and reached out through a mutual friend. Meeting him was eye-opening. The man I remembered as my confident, successful brother-in-law looked tired and older than his years. But he's doing better now. He's remarried to a lovely woman and they're expecting their first child. Mike told me things about Luna that made my stomach turn. The affair with James wasn't her first one. During their 8-year marriage, she had cheated on Mike at least 4 other times that he knew of. The first time was just 6 months after their wedding, with a groomsman from their wedding party. Then there was her gym trainer, a parent of one of her students, and another teacher before James. Each time Mike had suspicions, our parents would step in to defend Luna. They would make up elaborate stories about where she was when she disappeared for hours. Mom would swear Luna was helping her with errands or visiting sick relatives. Dad would claim he needed Luna's help with various tasks when she was actually meeting these men. They had become experts at covering up her infidelity. When Mike showed me the text messages between him and our parents from 5 years ago, I felt physically sick. They hadn't just asked him to keep quiet, they had emotionally blackmailed him. They told him I was suffering from severe anxiety in Germany, a complete lie, and that any family stress could trigger a breakdown and ruin my career. They painted this picture of me being mentally fragile and unable to handle bad news. The money they paid him wasn't just to keep quiet about James. It was also to keep him from revealing Luna's other affairs. Mike said he didn't want the money initially, but they insisted. They said it was to help him start fresh and compensate for the humiliation he'd endured. He finally accepted it because he needed funds to relocate and start his business in California. But here's the real reason Luna suddenly wanted to reconnect with me. James has been cheating on her for the past year with another teacher at their school. The irony would be funny if it wasn't so sad. Last month, James finally left Luna for this woman. He moved out of their house and is now living with his new girlfriend. Luna is struggling to pay their mortgage and take care of Emma on her single income. James isn't paying any child support yet because they're still sorting out their separation. That's why she's been desperately trying to reconcile with me. She needs financial help, and our parents have nothing left to give. I met with my parents again yesterday, and they finally came clean about their finances. They're on the verge of bankruptcy. The second mortgage they took out to pay Mike was just the beginning. They've been supporting Luna financially ever since she moved away with James. They paid for her lawyer during the divorce, covered the down payment on her house, bought her a car, and have been sending her money monthly for expenses. To do this, they've depleted their retirement savings, maxed out multiple credit cards, and taken loans from family members. Dad had to postpone his retirement, and Mom started working part-time at a local store to make ends meet. They're in their mid-60s and will probably have to work for many more years to pay off their debts. I did end up meeting Luna and Emma last week. Emma is a beautiful little girl who looks just like Luna did at that age. But the meeting was tense and uncomfortable. Luna spent most of the time complaining about James and dropping hints about her financial struggles. She mentioned Emma's private school fees, her swimming lessons, and how expensive childcare is at least 10 times during our 2-hour meeting. When I didn't immediately offer to help, Luna got angry. She said I was being selfish and heartless, watching my niece suffer while I lived comfortably in Germany. She even had the audacity to say that as the successful member of the family, I had an obligation to help them. I walked out of the restaurant after that comment. I'm starting to realize that my sister hasn't changed at all. She's still the same selfish person who cheated on her husband multiple times, and now she's trying to manipulate me the same way she manipulated everyone else in her life. The only difference is that her actions have finally caught up with her, and she's facing consequences she can't charm or lie her way out of. Update 3. It's been 6 months since my original post, and I think this will be my final update. After all the revelations and drama, I finally made some concrete decisions about my family situation that I want to share. The past month has been particularly intense. After our restaurant meeting, Luna started bombarding me with messages about needing financial help. She would send photos of Emma with sad faces, claiming they might have to move to a smaller apartment or take her out of her private school. She even started having Emma make videos saying how much she misses her aunt in Germany and needs her help. Using a child to emotionally manipulate someone is a new low, even for Luna. The situation got worse when James officially moved in with his new girlfriend. Luna found out they're expecting a baby, and she completely lost it. She started showing up at their apartment, creating scenes at his new girlfriend's workplace, and posting angry rants on social media. James threatened to file for full custody of Emma if Luna didn't stop harassing them. That's when she really ramped up her attempts to get money from me. She somehow got hold of my work email and started sending messages to my colleagues about how I was abandoning my family in their time of need. She even contacted my boss, claiming I was withholding money that belonged to her. Thankfully, my company was understanding and helped me deal with the situation. My parents haven't been much better. They kept trying to convince me to be the bigger person and help Luna. When I refused, they started guilting me about how they had supported my move to Germany and my career choices, so I owed them this. They conveniently forgot about how they had lied to me for years and violated my privacy. After much thought and several conversations with close friends, I've made some final decisions. I've hired a lawyer and sent Luna a cease and desist letter. If she continues trying to contact me or my workplace, we'll pursue legal action. I've blocked her on everything and made all my social media accounts private. As for my parents, I gave them an ultimatum. They could either stop enabling Luna and work on rebuilding their relationship with me, or they could continue supporting her and lose me as a daughter. They spent a week thinking about it before telling me they couldn't abandon Luna because she needs them more right now. I wasn't surprised, but it still hurt. I'm heading back to Germany next week. My company has offered me a promotion that involves traveling between Europe and Asia. I'll be managing international teams and won't have much reason to visit the US anymore. Before leaving, I met with Mike one last time. He's been a surprising source of support through all this, and we've developed a genuine friendship. He and his wife invited me to visit them in California sometime, and I might take them up on that offer. The family friends who tried to tell me the truth years ago have reached out after hearing what happened. Many of them apologized for giving up when my parents intercepted their messages. Some shared more stories about Luna's past behavior that only confirmed I'm making the right decision. Sometimes I feel sad about losing my family, especially during holidays or when I see happy family posts on social media. But then I remember that I lost them years ago when they chose to start lying to me. What I'm losing now is just the illusion of a family I thought I had. I'm focusing on my career, my friends, and building a life filled with honest relationships. Luna, James, my parents, they can deal with the mess they've created. I'm done being the backup plan for when their lies catch up with them. Some people say blood is thicker than water, but I've learned that trust and respect are thicker than both.